I don't know if you know this, but I'm from Denmark. I'm Danish. That's why I grew up both in Denmark and in Holland as a child. And I remember when I came to America in the late 80s, that when people would say, "How are you doing?" It was very common that somebody would say, "Oh, I'm really busy." Like, that's a good thing, right? I think I've shared some of this before, but I want to relate it a little bit to the light workers and what we're here for. And when I was in Denmark, you would say it in a different way. You would kind of say more like, "What are you up to these days?" And then the answer would commonly be as little as possible. So it was a big shift for me to just be in a whole new culture where being busy was a really good thing. That's something to be proud of, and that means that you're successful. And if you're not busy, then it's like, ooh, it's almost like embarrassing to say, I'm not busy. I don't do a lot. And then people give you that look. So how does that relate to being, really listening to the divine calling these days and really making ourselves available for this new energy that is very, very alive all around us? How do we make ourselves available for that if we are so busy all the time that we don't have time to turn within? We don't have time to put our attention away from here and put it here instead, so we can start feeling into, well, what is here? What is it that really wants to happen through and as me? This form, this identity, how can I make myself available? And if we are always busy, whether it's working or entertainment, excitement, just doing, TV, internet, Netflix, it's going to be very hard to really tune into this, because it's subtle. They in the Bible, it's like the still small voice, right? It's not like the big loud voice, although sometimes I know for some people it sounds like that. I remember one of Joel Goldsmith's books is called The Thunder of Silence, and that's how it was for him. That's not how it is for me, but it might be for you. So then maybe you can be busy and still hear the thundering. But for me, I need to just be still and just rest inside, just kind of go where the energy is, where the calling is. And it comes, of course, from the heart, from the soul, from somewhere deep inside. So being too busy, it's going to be hard, first of all, to hear that what it is, to connect with the calling, to follow the calling. The other thing is that, and this is again from my own experience, as light workers, maybe, just maybe, we are not meant to be so busy. And that might be a hard one to swallow for many of us, because there is this tendency, this belief that we need to be busy to make a difference in the world. The world is falling apart somehow in so many ways, and we want to help bring the new in, right? It's very alive in many of us. And many of us have some great downloads and ideas how it can be done. But then it's a matter of bringing it into manifestation or reality. And then we have to go through all these hoops to be seen, to be heard, to be visible. And then we can get very, very busy. I went through that for a long time, actually, years ago, and until the day where I was just like, I just could not do it anymore. So I pretty much quit in the middle of this 1 year program because everything in me was like, this is not the way. This is so opposite of what I'm bringing forth, of what's coming through me. And it's almost like I thwarted it, or I soiled it or something by trying to put it through this marketing machine where you have to do certain things in a certain way and over, and it's always about more. And it was such a drive out, and it was so opposite. It was so, gosh, it felt awful. So I stopped, and I'm glad I did. And I did take a long break. And I just had to really purify myself from that. And where I am now is I cannot do these things anymore. I do things. I mean, I do YouTube, I send out emails, newsletters, I do things. I offer classes, but I can't do that old way anymore. It doesn't fit me. It simply doesn't fit me. And I'm not going to wear anything that doesn't fit me anymore, because then it would be putting back the old paradigm. And that would be ridiculous, because my whole thing is about, not touching it and not wearing it anymore. So how about you? Do you feel like not much is happening? You're trying out new things. You're trying to make yourself busy. So at least you're doing something. So I want to just kind of see if I can narrow that gap a little bit today for all of us, because I think we're all more or less in that groove of having to do something all the time and be busy, and not at all honoring this. This. It is always present. It always guides us. It's very still. And it's so opposite of what we're used to. When you say it's so opposite, our nervous systems are wired to do, to be busy, to be successful, to make more, to create, to be better. We are wired to do that. And to stop, it's like stopping a tsunami. I did this years ago when I stopped it all, and it was like, whoa, the energy was just like so strong to do. And I just had to sit and say, no, I will not engage in the old paradigm anymore. There must be a new way coming through. And in a way, I'm still in that place, but there's movement. But for me, it's been learning to trust at a much, much deeper level. Trust what? Trust this. This I am, without the Pernilla identity. I have done a few YouTubes about, just the I am. Because when I say I am Pernilla, that's my identity. That's who I thought I was my whole life. When I take Pernilla off and just stay with I am, you will notice that there is still something here. And it is very vast, it's very still, it's very present. It's kind of it's a nothing and it's an everything. It's almost like a portal that's open to the infinity. It's hard to put words to, but you may have your own experience of it. That is what I'm learning to trust more and more day by day. And that means that I'm not giving myself to the outer pressure or suggestions. I always come back here and then I wait and I say, well, you have to show me because I do not know what this new paradigm is going to look like practically. I can feel it, I can sense it. It has the qualities of our soul frequencies, which is, of course, love, it's peace, it's all the things we all long for. That's why the longing is the doorway. So, can we give ourselves permission? If it's just for an hour or a day or a week or more, it depends on your life, your situation. Can we just give ourselves permission to wait and just practice being? Practice being led from within as opposed to pulled from the outside. I do believe that many of us light workers, whatever you call yourself, we are not here to do. Maybe it's not about doing anymore. I'm not saying we're just going to sit down or sleep all the time, but it is that element of the separate sense of self that thinks he or she needs to do something. It's the identity that if we can disengage from that and just practice, it is really precious. But that whole momentum that we've lived under for probably lifetimes and more now with all the speediness of the internet and all the things we need to do online, it's our nervous system has been sped up so much and we keep getting pulled out. We do miss that calling. I'm sure of it. You might notice something, but you're not giving yourself to it. So could we take that on as a little experiment, and just say, okay, for the next hour, I'm just going to sit or walk and be, and just see what shows up. And it may not be anything doing. It may just be that you feel a sense of peace, a sense of contentment. And maybe you will feel the part of you that actually doesn't really want to do so much anymore. Because that's what I had to face, that I don't want to do this anymore, just doing. And it's not about being busy. It's not about doing. That we can say that's what it was like in the old paradigm. But that's not what it's going to be in the new. We may be busy. We may be very busy. But it's going to come from within as just an energetic inspiration, movement that feels good, that feels confident. There's a confidence like, yeah, oh yeah, this is it. It's not me out here trying to make it happen. It's me sitting here in the portal and making myself available for that. And we feel it as this longing that something wants to be different. So we stay with that. So may I suggest that we all just take some more time to just be and be still and make ourselves available for this divine calling. Because it needs each and every one of us to really manifest in a graceful way, not in a fighting way. If we're fighting it, we're in this battle and we may get hurt. But if we just sit down and allow it to come through, who knows what's going to happen? I don't know, because we do not know. When we live in this place, we don't know except the moment to moment unfolding. So, maybe it's not about being so busy anymore. Maybe we did not come here to be so busy.